Good morning, Patriots. Welcome to the 309th consecutive Friday meeting of the East Valley Red Patriots. What a great way to launch the month of May. You know, here you are with your red shirts aglow, breaking bread and sharing in your adoration for America, demonstrating support for your beloved Armed Forces personnel, applauding those that are deployed and recognizing the importance of their missions, and cultivating an enduring camaraderie amongst your fellow Red Patriots. I am so in awe of your dedication to the mission of Red. And to each of you, I extend a heartfelt hooah for your resolute support. Thank you. You know, I'm sure that you're aware, thank you. I'm sure that you're aware that in 1999, Congress, spearheaded by Senator John McCain, designated the month of May as National Military Appreciation Month. In fact, May might be considered the most significant month of the year as it pertains to commemorating our United States military. Those commemorations include May 1st, yesterday, the Silver Star Banner Day, an official day to honor wounded, ill, and injured veterans. May 9 is Military Spouse Appreciation Day, a day to recognize the service and the sacrifices of military spouses. May 13, Children of Fallen Patriots Day, a day to honor the children left behind by the brave men and women who gave their lives while defending our freedom. May 17, Armed Forces Day. It's a day which is observed on the third Saturday every May. It's a day dedicated to paying tribute to the men and women currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. And then May 26th is Memorial Day, a solemn occasion to honor the men and women who died while serving in the United States military. Every one of these commemorative events is undoubtedly of immense importance to our military and civilian communities, their families, and their loved ones. Why? Because there are very few American families that do not have a history of military service somewhere down the line. A spouse, a son, a daughter, a parent, a grandchild, a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, a nephew, a niece, or a close family friend. Somewhere down the line, every family has a connection with our military. And as a nation, we simply cannot minimize, much less negate, the importance of honoring our wounded veterans, our military spouses and children, our active duty personnel, nor those that have lost their lives while serving in the armed forces. We must keep their sacrifices at the forefront, and we must continue to emphasize the significant roles they have played in the defense of this country. So, now we enter the month of May, National Military Appreciation Month. And as the month progresses, this Red Friday group will pay due respect to each commemorative and with pride will enthusiastically join to extend our sincere appreciation to those who serve this country, both past and present. You know, speaking of pride, there's a lot of pride on exhibition in this room. Everyone here has much to take pride in, be it your military service, your community service, your family, your children, your career, your charitable endeavors, a hobby, a specific talent, your faith. Each of you has something to be proud of. There are facets of each of your lives that are standout. Things that gave you a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction. They might be derived from your own achievements or possibly the achievements of those with whom you're closely associated, or maybe from your possessions or your personal qualities that are generally admired by those with whom you associate. Every one of us has something to be proud of. And to reinforce that statement, let's listen to a song by the duo Montgomery Gentry titled Something to Be Proud of. Will you join me in the pledge? The republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You know, I know that we have a couple of returnees here for second or third visits, and I do want to say for any of you who have made it a priority to come back here after what you saw on the first visit, thank you for your return. We do appreciate it, and we're hoping that we'll be able to see you guys again here in the near future. So, one late afternoon last week, my wife, Hank, came rushing into our living room and said, "Honey, I need for you to return for me." She said, "I'm trying to get dressed for a ladies' outing this evening, and I need a bra for my outfit." She said, "Here's what I need from Dillard's." She handed me a note describing the bra she wanted. Now, men folk are generally not prone to run these kind of errands, especially the kind of errand my wife was requesting of me. But even though I was quite busy at the time, like a good husband that I am, I succumbed to Hank's plea for help. So I drove over to Superstition Springs Mall, and I walked into the women's lingerie department at Dillard's, and I looked at Hank's note, and I told the sales associate that I would like a size 36A Southern Baptist bra for my wife. Well, as soon as I asked the lady for her help, I noticed that she had a rather quizzical look on her face, and she said, "What kind of bra, sir?" I said, "A Southern Baptist bra." My wife said to tell you she wanted a 36A Southern Baptist bra and that you would know what she wanted. The sales lady said, she said, "Now I remember, we don't get as many requests for them as we used to get." She said, "Lately, most of our customers want the Catholic bra, the Salvation Army bra. Sometimes they ask for the Presbyterian bra." Well, from what the lady said, I was a little confused. I was getting a bit flustered. So I asked her, "What's the difference?" She said, "Well, sir, it's quite simple. The Catholic bra supports the masses, and the Salvation Army bra lifts up the fallen, and the Presbyterian bra keeps them staunch and upright. Well, I mused on her rather peculiar description for a bit, and then I said, so what's the Southern Baptist bra for? She said, well, sir, the Southern Baptist bra is renowned for making mountains out of molehills. Folks, that's the last errand I'll ever run for my wife. Did you folks enjoy that pre-breakfast donuts this morning? I don't know. Some of you may wait and take one home, consume it later. Regardless, those culinary delights were brought in for your pleasure. Today being the first Monday of May, or first Friday of May, we've a tradition here that acknowledges our R.E.D members who will celebrate a birthday sometime during the month. And serving up these little tidbits of finger-licking good treats, it's a hell of a lot easier than slicing cake. Now, I don't want to bore you with this because these guys' photographs seem to be coming up quite frequently, but I do want to thank a couple of gentlemen on their repeat offer to provide you with these sweet treats. Art Allen and Les Jones, will you please stand? Gentlemen, thank you for delivering the one known food item that is guaranteed to expand the waistline. I think we all owe Les and Art a big hoo-ah. So if your birthday happens to fall in the month of May, will you please stand? Any May birthdays? Joe's is May 1st. Nita and Larry. Who else? Right here. Who else? Anybody? Pete, is your birthday as well? You got 3 of you back there that are May birthdays? Unbelievable. 2. And Larry right here. I'm Barry right here as well.
The whole AV crew.
AV crew. That's unbelievable. AV crew is birthdays in May, so I'll have to make note of that. Well, happy birthday. Let's have a hoo-ah for these birthday kids. You know, over the past couple of years, our Red Friday program has been blessed to have numerous members of our Apache Trail chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution join us in our quest to honor America's deployed warfighters. And the fabulous ladies of DAR have literally added a new dimension to our program. Their support and promotion of Red Friday has been absolutely stellar. And in so doing, they are also furthering their mission of DAR, that being to promote historic preservation. Forgive me. I have lost my voice. That being to promote historic preservation, education, and
certainly to keep talking about the wonderful work of the ladies of the DAR. They have added a dimension to this particular program. Their support and their promotion of Red Friday has been extremely stellar. And in so doing, they're furthering the mission of DAR, being to promote historic preservation, education, patriotism, and to actively engage in community service projects, foster a love of country, support active military personnel and veterans, and to honor the memory of American Revolution patriots. And this local chapter of DAR, they definitely excel in every aspect of their mission. Orchestrating the charge is the Apache Trail Chapter's regent, Kelly McDonald. Kelly is also an Arizona State DAR American 250 Committee co-chair and Arizona State America 250 Commission member and an Arizona State Capitol Wreaths Across America representative. And like so many of the local DAR members, she is very active in a host of community projects. Recently, Kelly traveled to Prescott and participated in a Liberty Tree and historic marker dedication ceremony. When Kelly informed us about her experience, it piqued the curiosity of Sergeant Major. So the suggestion was made that she may wish to enlighten our R.E.D group about the history of the Liberty Tree and its significance as a symbol of American freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our own Kelly McDonald to inform us about the historic Liberty Tree. Kelly?
What a great introduction. Thank you so much, Hank and Dick, for writing that. That's
Do you have your clicker?
yeah, I do. Thank you. I got everything. I'm ready to go. The sound is a little weird. Yeah. And I have, my allergies are in full mode. So if I have to sneeze, I'm warning you. It may be very loud being mic'd, but thank you so much. As Dick mentioned, that in Prescott, they had a Liberty Tree planting, and that was a great event for me to go to and try to learn a little bit about it myself. And he was asking me about it, and I realized I actually don't know that much about Liberty Trees. So I started doing research, and that's one of the things I love about some of the DAR stuff is that you can research things that, and I love history. So, and I realized the Liberty Tree is a symbolism of the Revolutionary War. So that's what I'm going to tell you about, is what I learned when I did that research. Okay, so it started in 1765 when the British Parliament introduced the Stamp Act. If you all remember from your history classes, the Stamp Act was a tax imposed upon the colonists, and it was probably the tipping point for the colonists, because that was the point where they realized we're getting taxation without representation, and it came just full front for them. So on August 14th, 1765, a crowd gathered in Boston under a large elm tree at the corner of Essex Street and Orange Street to protest the Stamp Act. And what was so significant about this was actually the first public show of defiance against the crown. And it spawned that resistance with the Sons of Liberty. And it took 10 years to actually start the Revolutionary War after that. But this is a picture of that very elm tree. It became a gathering place for protesters, and the ground surrounding it became known as Liberty Hall, which of course still exists, even though the tree is no longer there. So when it was repealed, the Stamp Act in 1766, townspeople gathered around the Liberty Tree to celebrate, and they decorated the tree with flags and streamers and hung dozens of lanterns from its branches. And soon colonists in other towns began to create that same symbol of the Liberty Tree in their own towns as we led up to the American Revolution. That is also the tree where General Washington first took command of the troops, was under that. And from that, the idea of a Liberty Tree began to spread, not just to other colonies, and there was a fairly famous one in South Carolina as well, or Charleston, yeah, South Carolina, but also to other countries. So one of the Liberty trees, they planted them in France leading up to the French Revolution, and one of the oldest remaining original existing ones is near Normandy. So they call theirs Tree of Liberty, and it spread apparently to other countries as well as throughout America. So that original elm tree under which George Washington assumed command of the Continental Army, it died in 1923 at an estimated age of 200 years. But botanists and a Maryland DAR member made sure its legacy lived on at universities across the United States, including Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. So they took grafts of that elm, and Harvard University's arborarium, is that how that's pronounced? Anyway, mailed the grafts to universities in every state. And on the 200th anniversary of Washington's birthday, they planted those. So the original tree, after it died, they took the wood from it and made a variety of things, some little furniture pieces, some mementos, bookends, which still exist and are treasured in different places around the country today. But in 1920, the Northern Arizona Normal School president, Lynn McMullen, confronted a nearly treeless and grassless landscape at NAU. And they initiated a campus beautification project. So they had student volunteers which hauled tons of topsoil and planted a variety of native trees, including ponderosa pine, Colorado blue spruce, and a Douglas fir. Grady Gamage, who was the president, added additional trees and shrubs, and subsequent forestry professors, groundkeepers, and student organizations of all types have supplemented the quad's tree diversity, which today includes 30 tree species. And most notable is the large American elm that was donated by the Daughters of the American Revolution. It is a direct descendant of the tree which George Washington assumed command, that elm tree, the very one that was in Boston. And it's called now just the Washington elm, but Flagstaff's tree may be the only survivor of that nationwide effort to preserve that original tree, as most of them succumbed to the Dutch elm disease. So our Flagstaff elm was named one of 11 historic witness trees in 2012 during the state centennial. And today the DAR chapter around that area raises funds and works with the greenhouse staff at NAU to ensure that preservation of the Flagstaff tree. So besides that original tree, as Dick mentioned, I went to a dedication and planting of another Liberty tree in Prescott. So what makes that a Liberty tree? Since that time, there's been an effort to plant whatever tree species will grow in an area or fits within a garden area. But the important part is the dedication. So there is a plaque at all the Liberty trees that explain what a Liberty tree is, briefly, not as long as what I gave you, but briefly to commemorate and remember the revolutionary patriots who fought so hard for all of our freedoms today. And we have two that I know of in Arizona, and that one is in Prescott at the Charlotte Hall Museum. It is a Kwanzaa flowering cherry tree. And it says it's a lasting symbol of growth, remembrance, and unity at the Charlotte Hall Museum. So I encourage you to go up and take a look at it. And if you're considering planting a Liberty tree, did it switch? Yeah. If you're considering planting a Liberty tree, I ask that you do so and remember the local tree species that will thrive in your area, and remember those patriots. There is no national registry of Liberty trees, which is disappointing. But what I have found is that if you want more information, probably the best place to look is under the Sons of American Revolution, the SAR, because they have a national program to plant 250 trees by the 250th anniversary of America, July 4th, 2026. And as we lead up to that significant and important date, I think it's important to remember our forefathers. And as Thomas Jefferson said, a tree of liberty must be revived from time to time by the blood of patriots and tyrants. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share what I learned.
I want you to stand by just a second. You know, if we think back to our junior high school years, specifically 8th or 9th grade, most of us had a introductory course in biology. And early into the entry-level biology course, we were instructed on biological classifications of both plants and animals. Remember those days? And we learned that the order of species in a hierarchy: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and finally species. And Kelly has just enlightened us on the history of the original freedom tree, which was in fact an American elm. Now, if we study the hierarchy classification of the American elm, which is scientifically known as Ulmus americana, we will find that the tree follows this specific order. The kingdom is plant, which is taxonomic kingdom encompassing all plants, both living and extinct. The kingdom is followed by division, which is flowering plants, then class, which is dicotyledons, then order, which for the American elm is rosalis, or roses, since it is a flowering plant. And then the family, which is the elm family. Then genus, which is for the liberty tree, Ulmus americana. A specific species characterized by its distinctive vase-like shape and graceful arching branches. So I've highlighted this biological classification of the American elm so that you might better understand.
Can you hear me? Great. I can hear me. So now we've heard the highlighted biological classification of the American elm so that we can all understand the significance of a certificate of appreciation that we at this time want to present to Kelly. And Kelly, on behalf of the Red Friday Patriots group, we'd like to welcome you to the Order of Rosalis. That's my maiden name, which is Order of Roses. I think that Kelly definitely deserves a resounding hoo-ah. Thank you, Kelly. You've done a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so we want to remind everybody that yesterday, Thursday, May 1st, was Silver Star Service Banner Day, a time to recognize not only those who have been awarded the Silver Star Medal for Valor in combat, but most important, to remember the sacrifices of our wounded, the ill, and dying combat veterans. The Silver Star Medal is the United States' third highest medal decoration for valor in combat, those being in order of precedence, the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, and the Silver Star. There are several other awards that, when combined with the V device, signify valor in combat, to include but not limited to the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Bronze Star, and the Air Medal. Any award issued for valor in combat is typically awarded for specific heroic actions performed over a short-term engagement, generally no more than 1 or 2 days. The Silver Star Medal decoration itself is quite old. It's a decoration created as the successor of something known as the Citation Star that was created in 1918 at the end of World War I for gallantry in action. But it was not until 1942 that the Silver Star Medal that we now recognize was officially authorized. It is estimated that approximately 125,000 Silver Star medals have been awarded for valor since the decoration was established early in World War II. Colonel David Hackworth, who was awarded 10 Silver Star medals while serving in the Army during the Korean War and the Vietnam War, is likely to be the person awarded the most Silver Star medals, 10 separate acts of valor. The Silver Star Service Banner Day is a time of recognition related to the Silver Star Medal, but not exclusively dedicated to it. The day also offers Americans the opportunity to pay our respect to those service members who have been affected by combat, our wounded, our ill, and dying veterans. The tradition of the Silver Star Service Banner is about as old as the Silver Star Medal itself. The Silver Star Service Banner is known more generally as service flag. It is specifically authorized by United States Code Title 36. This section states, a service flag approved by the Secretary of Defense may be displayed in a window of the place of residence of individuals who are members of the immediate family of an individual serving in the armed forces of the United States during any period of war or hostilities in which the armed forces of the United States are engaged. We know that homes flying the Gold Star Service Banner have lost a loved one in combat, and those displaying a Blue Star Service Banner have loved ones who currently now serve. And now we're aware that the Silver Star Service Banner honors those who have become seriously ill or who have been injured in combat, in addition to the Silver Star Medal recipients. Each color represents something different. Gold, sacrifice, signifies a loved one died in uniform. Blue, hope, signifies a loved one in uniform. And silver, gallantry, signifies a loved one that has been injured or sickened or is the recipient of the Silver Star Medal. The military adopted the formal use of the Gold Star Service Banner and Blue Service Star Banner long before the same happened to the Silver Star Service Banner. Although founded in 2004 by the Silver Star Families of America organization, the day was only made official in 2010 by a congressional resolution that was passed in May of 2010, formalizing Silver Star Service Banner Day. When Congress designated Silver Star Service Banner Day as May 1st, it called for Americans to observe the day with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Let this meeting today of our Red Friday group serve as our recognition of these brave warriors and veterans suffering from injury or illness. And when you observe that banner displayed in the window, or you see a bumper sticker of that banner, give that family a nod as a sign of respect for their loved ones who have earned our admiration and our appreciation. May I see the hands of all Air Force veterans? Raise your hands, please, all veterans. Thank you very much. Now, may I see the hands of those of you that wish that you had joined the Air Force as opposed to another branch of service? Yep, that's kind of interesting. Well, we want to give you a heads up, regardless of the branch of service, that on Friday, May the 23rd, Netflix will be streaming a newly produced documentary film titled Air Force Elite Thunderbirds. And for the first time ever, you're going to get the opportunity to sit in the cockpit with the Air Force's legendary flight squadron, the Thunderbirds. I'm telling you, this film is going to likely raise the hair on everyone's neck without Tom Cruise's Maverick at the controls. So, we thought that you might enjoy watching a trailer of the documentary just to get an idea of what the coming release will entail. This is a trailer of Air Force Elite's Thunderbirds. Wow, I think that's something worth looking forward to. Okay, so we're just about through, but we'll go ahead and go through some announcements here. On Saturday, May 3rd, that's tomorrow, from 2 o'clock to 2 p.m., Congressman Andy Biggs of the 5th Congressional District is sponsoring a Veterans Services Fair titled Drop Zone. This will be a one-stop resource fair for veterans, services, and senior benefits. There will be a host of service organizations present to include VA representatives, VA health service representatives, senior service organizations, community support groups, congressional case work services, and health screenings. Jim Kenyon and the Sergeant Major will have a Red Friday booth set up there and hope to see many of you folks drop by, if nothing else, to get a free haircut. But we're confident that there will be services represented there that you may wish to explore and learn more of. The event's going to take place at the American Leadership Academy at the Applied Technologies campus located at 7729 East Pecos Road in Mesa. And the building is located at the southwest corner of the Mesa Gateway Airport. So if you go down the 202 West, take Power Road south, and when you get to Pecos Road, you'll turn left going east, and you will be there. So we hope that you'll drop by and check it out. And lastly, please don't forget that when you leave your name badges at the table, at the front, at the registration table there. And we certainly appreciate everybody being here. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.